Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your listening and viewing environment. We are here with you from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, broadcasting live from the FijiWater.com sponsored studio, where you can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships, whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind. God is concerned about that which concerns you. And that is the reason that we are here with you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, which is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer, where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just ordinary water. This is Earth's finest water at FijiWater.com. And for those of you who continue giving to support the broadcast on the contribution pages of our websites at NewLifeMinistriesInternational.com or NewLifeInternationalCDC.com, and those of you that use the QR code or the link provided on Facebook and YouTube, and those of you that are now using Zelle on the T-Mobile caller text line at 267-992-1424, we thank all of you for your support and for your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here for you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. And I want to remind all of our listeners and viewers, some of you already know, and for those of you that are new, I'm Pastor Pope, Senior Pastor of New Life Christian Center, located at 400 Hillcrest Avenue in Wilmington, Delaware, 19809. If you're ever in our area, we invite you to come and worship with us on Sunday morning at New Life Christian Center, 400 Hillcrest Avenue, Wilmington, Delaware, 19809. Service begins at 10 a.m. And if you're not in our area, you can tune in on our YouTube channel at New Life Christian Center Pastor Pope, where the sermon goes live at 10:45 a.m. But as always, we're here with you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. And I want to remind everyone that we want to stay connected with you through our internet radio station, WKAPfaith.com, where we play music 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Music that will encourage, empower, and inspire at WKAPfaith.com. And for those of you that are in the real estate business, New Life Community Development Corporation has become your private money lender broker. So if you're in need of funding for your real estate projects that are not owner occupied, but for development projects, house flipping, if you're doing residential or commercial, reach out to us on the T-Mobile caller text line. Text us at 267-992-1424. And last but not least, we have our New Life Food Source Pantry, where we provide food to anyone who is experiencing food insecurity. So if you know anyone that is in need of food, contact us once again on the T-Mobile caller text line at 267-992-1424. We have plenty of food, and we will make certain that they have food. We don't want to see anyone going hungry. So please have them contact us, or you may contact us for them if you're picking up for someone that is in need of food, that's dealing with food insecurities. Contact us on the T-Mobile caller text line at 267-992-1424. We will give you instructions on how we can make certain that they receive food. So for all of you who have tuned in today, I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you have tried dating apps to meet people that you do not encounter on a daily basis. You said, however, this has been unsuccessful for you also. You want to know, how do you meet someone that you can enjoy going out with and spending time with? I'm going to address this because this is real important. I think we've been doing things the wrong way. So there's nothing wrong with the idea of going on a dating app. I want to first and foremost say that because I know people will say, Pastor, you're outdated. We're doing this in this new generation that we're living in. We're going on apps and meeting people, and that's fine. You know, we even have a dating online for singles who are saved and single. So, but here's the reality. First and foremost, if you're on an app for any other reason other than forming a relationship to eventually set a date, to encounter someone, get in a relationship, and then begin the dating process that God has provided as a revelation, and I'll reiterate that also. You're not accomplishing what God desires for you. And so I'm going to make sure I break this down so that we get a clear understanding of what God has planned. And we're still trying to do things our own way. This is the new way. The new method is going on dating apps. You know, once upon a time, when there were no dating apps, we met people in the environments in which we live or work. Now, let me explain to you what's happening in society today. I understand that people are on dating apps for a couple of reasons. One is because they feel that it enlarges their coast, that it gives them an opportunity to meet other people who live in other areas. And the reason is because people, want to travel. They want to have the opportunity to meet people who live in different regions so that they can get on a plane and fly somewhere and hang out and spend time. And I get it. We're living in a different society. But here's the reality. When you meet people who are geographically desirable, you have an opportunity to get to know them face to face. Not have to get on a plane, not have to travel to them travel to you. But I'm not suggesting there's anything wrong with finding new methods to date. I get it. At the end of the day, you've got to say, is that productive? And you've got to think about it in those terms. So you said this hasn't been successful for you either. And the reason is because you're not dating with a purpose. You're dating for entertainment. You're dating for a free meal. You're dating for entertainment. That's what's happening in today's society, which is going to take me to another communication. But the reality is we're dating for the wrong reason. And I've said this over and over again. You may be relatively new to the broadcast, and if you haven't gone back and viewed the archives, which I encourage everyone to do, you won't know that I've shared with everyone, dating was designed for a purpose. Dating was designed for encountering someone, entering into a relationship, and eventually setting a date to present yourselves to the altar before God for holy matrimony. That's what dating, it was designed to set a date. It wasn't designed for all of these other things that we use dating for. So you've got to ask yourself, what are you doing with dating? What's your purpose? What's your why? What's your reason? And if it's any of these other reasons other than to enter into a relationship with someone that you can eventually set a date, you get engaged and set a date for marriage, then it's really you just having a good time. And that's the reason that it hasn't been successful, because if you're looking for a good time, so are the people that you're dating. So let's get back to the basics of what I've shared, a revelation of God. And I shared this some time ago. I started sharing this some years ago. What God wants us to do is to date with a purpose. And so here's the reality. I've said this to everyone who has tuned in previously and who's been listening for a long time. If someone asks you to go out on a date, tell them that you would go out with them if they'll take you to church and out to lunch 3 times. Forget about being wined and dined. Forget about going to all of the 5-star places. Have them take you to church and out to lunch. If they don't have a home church, invite them to your church. And then go out to lunch with them. And what the conversations you want to have over lunch is not about what you might like to do to hang out, what you might want to do to hang out, where you want to travel, how you want to travel with someone else. That's not the conversation you should be having. The conversation you should be having is, what is the plan, for example, what is the plan for his life? What's his 7-year plan? If he doesn't have a plan for himself, he can't possibly have a plan for you. And if he doesn't have a plan for the next 7 years, he can't have a plan for how he's going to date you with the intent of setting a date. So you have to ask those questions. That should be the first Sunday to church and out to lunch. And then the following Sunday, you can discuss what he has planned for the next 14 years. And the following Sunday, what he has planned for the next 21 years. What is the plan for his life? How do you fit into that plan? And if he doesn't have a plan, he doesn't have one for you. So you will know after 3 weeks exactly what you need to know that will either allow you to move forward in a relationship or to say, this is not for me. Because he that finds a wife, he should not be looking for just a girlfriend. He that finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor of the Lord. So if he's not looking for the favor of the Lord, he's not right for you. He's not the person God has appointed for your life. That's your way of identifying who God has appointed for your life. Now, having said that, for the men out there, for all of you men out there, you shouldn't be looking for a girlfriend. You should be searching for a wife. Not someone who's prepared herself to be a girlfriend, but someone who's prepared herself to be a wife. And you'll find that out if you just take them to church and out to lunch 3 times. You will know, is this someone that I can spend the rest of my life with? Is this someone who fits into the plan that I have for my life? And if not, keep it moving. Because our society is all messed up because of the way we're all trying to live. And we've got to recognize that God has a plan for each and every one of us. So if he has a plan for each and every one of us, we need to walk in that plan. We need to understand the plan and walk in his purpose. You know, I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but I invite everyone to tune in to the Sunday sermon, because for us it's going to be Communion Sunday, and I'm going to be talking about communing with God. When's the last time you spoke to God without wanting something from him? Because that's what communing is all about. Well, it's the same thing when you are talking about dating someone. You need to commune with them first to find out, I don't want anything from you. I want to know what the plan is for our lives. I want to know if you fit in, for the gentleman out there, does she fit into the plan God has for your purpose? Is this someone who you can be equally yoked with? Is this someone that you're going to be able to live life and have joy and have peace with? Is this someone that God has appointed for your life, or is this someone that you've decided you're interested in because they appeal to you visually? So we all have a responsibility in this process of being equally yoked. We all have a purpose in the process of dating. And once again, I'm going to just remind everyone that dating is not for the purpose of companionship. It's not for the purpose of entertainment. It's not for the purpose of a free meal. It's not for the purpose of social dating. It's for the purpose of entering into a relationship that will allow you to eventually set a date to present yourselves before the altar of God for holy matrimony. Because that's what God has intended for our lives. Because it's not good for man to be alone. That's what the scripture says. Because if we find ourselves alone, we're going to find ourselves connecting to someone that is not a wife and is not going to result in the favor of God. It's going to result in us having a life filled with drama and trauma. So let's get this thing right. So I understand, you're dating, you're on dating apps, you've been dating people, it's been unsuccessful, whether it's in your people in your presence or whether it's people on an app. But let's do better and get this right. None of us are perfect, but God has a perfect plan for our lives. And let's make certain that we walk in that purpose. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile caller text line at 267-992-1424. We will move you into our queue so that you may have the opportunity to become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill. And if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill at T-Mobile, America's largest and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. The great thing about T-Mobile is if you have a dispute on your bill, they will try to resolve the issue. And I know that from personal experiences. T-Mobile, America's largest and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers. However, before I do that, this segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Charles Tyrwhitt, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. So if you're in any of those areas, stop in at their retail stores. They have everything a man could possibly need. And if you're not in those areas, you can order from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com and the White Company, located in London, the UK. They also have a store on Fifth Avenue in New York. So if you're in New York, stop in at their retail store. They have everything you could possibly need. Home goods, clothing for men, women, and children. And if you're not in New York, you can order from The White Company at thewhitecompany.com. They will both ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that your daughter recently introduced you to the person she is dating who happens to be your age. However, you are not comfortable with this and are not certain what to do. Okay, so let me be clear on this. There is nothing you can do. You are in your 50s, later 50s. Your daughter's in her early 30s. There's nothing you can do about who she chooses to date. There is a conversation you can have with her about your concerns. Whatever your concerns may be, you can have a conversation with her about those concerns. What you cannot do is make a decision for adults. She's in her early 30s. There's no way that you can possibly make a decision for someone in their early 30s. They're going to do exactly what they want to do. They're going to make adult decisions. You've done everything that you possibly can do to demonstrate to your daughter how to live life. She's She's seen your ups and downs. She's seen the challenges that you've had to deal with. You've done the very best that you can do. So what's interesting is you are now a single parent. You are raising an only child. Well, you raised an only child. So the two of you have always had a relationship. The reality is that now she's an adult. And for whatever her reasons are, she has decided to date someone that is over 20 years older than her. That's her decision. She's an adult. She's going to make those decisions. And she's going to have her own life experiences, whatever they might be. Now, your concern is that she's dating him for financial security, that it's not going to last, she's going to be hurt. Well, probably. You're probably right. She's going to go through an experience because this is the person she's chose to date, because he's financially secure, he can treat her the way she wants to be treated, he can do things with her and for her and with her that someone her own age is not capable of doing at this point. That's her choice. The end result of that will probably be that she'll go through some heartbreak. You can't prevent her from going through that. The end result is probably going to be that they're not going to be married, because that's what generally happens when people are over 20 years difference in age. Doesn't always, there's exceptions. Let me do it this way. There's exceptions to every rule, but that's not the rule. You're probably right, but she's going to have that experience, because you've already tried to tell her that this is someone who is probably not going to marry her. You've had that conversation with her. Whether she believes it or not is entirely her choice. But she's going to have to live this experience, because that's what she's decided to do. And at the end of the day, all you can do is have a conversation with her regarding her concerns. Because let me tell you what happens when people get to the point in life, and I'm going to break this down because many of you have heard me talk about the 7-year plan. So let's say someone graduates from college at 21 or 22. That's generally the consensus. Grad school, maybe 23, maybe 24. Let's add 7 years to that. So by the time they're 30 or 31, that's their point in life. You know, and if they don't go to grad school, 21, 22 means 28, 29. But once they get to 30, it doesn't matter what their life experience was from the time they were younger, being raised by you, by a parent. Their decisions then become their decisions. There's nothing you can do to change adults making their own decisions. And the reality of that is that you've given her all the tools that she can use to build a life for herself. And now she's made this decision, and you even had someone tell you, well, is it because, and not your daughter, but you had a conversation with one of your siblings who said, well, is it because you're interested in him? And the answer to that is no. You're just concerned about your daughter having heartbreak, because you've had heartbreak. But here's the newsflash. You've had heartbreak. So she has to go through her own experience also, because she's not going to listen to you because she's doing exactly what she wants to do. And you've got to be okay with that. Because at the end of the day, she's going to do exactly what she wants to do. She's an adult, making adult decisions. And here's a news flash for all of us as human beings, parents or non-parents. We're all making decisions for ourselves. Old or young, we're all making, as long as we're adults, we're all making decisions for ourselves. And so you've got to be okay with the decisions that she's making, because these are her decisions to make. This segment of the broadcast has been brought to you by Comcast Business. If you are looking for the best telecom solutions for your business, whether you're a small startup or a large enterprise, contact Sarah Jo Boyle at Comcast Business at 215-964-3670 and give your business the edge it deserves. Contact Sarah Jo Boyle. Your code is Pastor Pope. Contact Sarah Jo Boyle at 215-964-3670. Again, your code is always Pastor Pope this month for your September exclusive discounts at Comcast Business. Sarah Jo Boyle at 215-964-3670. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you have a problem with the behavior of today's men. Okay. He said they only want to hang out and have fun without having a relationship. So this is relationship day, apparently, because here's the bottom line. Let's think about this. You say they're interested in only hanging out, not having a relationship. However, in the past, you've been doing the same. Because I'm hearing from men also that women want to hang out with their girlfriends and occasionally hang out with men, but they don't want to have a relationship. They don't want to focus on getting married and having children. I'm hearing this from young men, from millennial men, not baby boomers. I'm hearing this from young men. So it's not all men, but I understand when you say the behavior. So you talked about in your communication that, they go out on dates, they want to split the date. Well, if you're going out with a man split the check. If you're going out with men who want to split the check, you're not going out with men, you're going out with boys. That's what boys do. That's not what men do. Because men don't go out on dates that they can't afford to pay for. Not real men. And men out there listening today, if you're asking women out and trying to split the check with them because you think they should pay for half the date since you're not in a relationship, you don't need to be dating. So I get it when you say the behavior of men, but the reason that they're doing what they're doing is because I'm hearing from them, women just want to hang out. They don't want to get involved in a real relationship that will lead to marriage, having children, building a family. That's what I'm hearing. And I'm reading those communications of men saying that because they're saying all women want to do is hang out with their girlfriends. They want to travel with their girlfriends. They want to hang out with men when they want to hang out with men and be entertained, be wined and dined, but they don't want to have a relationship. So it appears that you're both struggling with the same issues because of what society has told us we should be doing, what the culture is doing. So it's interesting that I'm hearing the same thing from men. Maybe a little different format, but I'm hearing the same thing from men that I'm reading from the women of the millennial generation. Haven't heard it as much from the boomer generation, although I have heard some women in the boomer generation that are saying, men just want to hang out. Well, some of them have said they've become jaded with the way that women are conducting themselves. So we got a problem in society, not just a problem in dating. We need to address that, and we will on subsequent broadcasts. Today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast 3D has been brought to you by Fiji Water. A taste of paradise will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money.